Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is News Center. Now, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics is at the moment launching the 2021 Kenya Time Use Report. Now, the event is taking place at the Nairobi Hotel. Let us cross over and join those proceedings live.
Research further shows that in low resource settings, such as the sub-Saharan Africa, women and girls in rural areas carry a much heavier burden of care work than their male counterparts in urban areas who have access to time and labor-saving technology and basic services. Again, speaking to the disparities that we have when it comes to time use and looking at the gender disparities. According to a baseline survey carried out in 2022 on unpaid care work status among men and women in Rwanda, women spend an average of 7.1 hours per day working on unpaid care work, while men spend 2.1 hours only. So you can see again, it is more the women who spend more time, 7.1% following that survey in Rwanda, compared to 2.1 for the men. In Kenya, the same narrative is experienced. Women bear the brunt of unpaid care work, and this, again, we'll hear more when we have the presentation from Mr. McDonald later in the program. And this, unfortunately, excludes women and girls from opportunities to engage in decent paid work, access to quality education, and thus undermining their rights. I wish to say, in conclusion, that I believe that our collective efforts will make a substantial impact in advancing gender equality and inclusivity in Kenya. It is really promising to know that even from the State Department of Planning, for Economic Planning, that this is actually given the weight it deserves, and that there is now concerted effort towards having this conversation, because it has for the longest time been ignored. And Bona PS, I really want to take this recognition and really echo support on behalf of the Commission for your relentless effort towards ensuring that time use in Kenya is also given the prominence it deserves. It's also quantified, and we are able to even have it factored somewhere in the GDP. And I'm sure that will be work that will be advancing going forward. With those few remarks, I really want to wish us very good deliberations. And I'd like really during the presentation, which I'm sure we'll be hearing from the DG, real unpacking of this issue of time use. Because we need to have the rural woman, Bona DG, able to speak to time use, because they face it, but they cannot explain it. You know, some of these things are very statistical and very heavily worded. So we need to have it unpacked in a way that we can talk about it just the way we talk about bonga points. True? So with those few remarks, I want to stop there and really wish us very good deliberations. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Sungura, for even highlighting for us those gaps in gender inequality, which is really the reality that is there in our space. And now I would like to invite our Master of Ceremony, Katunge Kilu, to take us further. Katunge.
Thank you, Josephine. Good morning once again. Allow me to ride on the already established protocol and very quickly invite the KNBS board chairperson, Mr. Stephen Wainaina, to address us. Karibu chair. Makofi tafadhali.
Chief guest, Mr. James Muhati, who is the PS State Department for Economic Planning. The Principal Secretary, State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action, Madam Anne Wangombe. Presidential Advisor on Women's Rights, who is here with us today. representatives of the institutions that have spoken to us, the World Bank. We have 2 representatives from the Kenya country office and from the East African office. The representative of UN Women, Mr. Joshua Musiemi, who is one of us, for those of you from KNBS who know his background. The representative of Oxfam, and other partners present. Let me also recognize the board members who are able to join us this morning. I can see Dr. Sheikh here. He wasn't with us earlier. Mr. Kimani, Mr. Francis Nkako, and Madam Rose Toet. I think I have not left any. Although the DG is also a board member, so I wouldn't forget that. Let me also take this opportunity and also recognize the last speaker, who was the CEO of NGEC, Madam Betty Sungura, who has just spoken to us. And you can see we are recruiting her to become a statistician. She has given us some statistics. KNBS management and staff. Distinguished guests, because we are all distinguished guests in this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me pleasure to be part of today's release of the findings of the first ever Kenya Time Use Survey report. In fact, I think Sebastian did tell us from the word go that it is the first in the continent, which again was mentioned again by the next speaker, that it is the first in East Africa. So it's really a historic day for all of us. KNBS, through its mandate, plays a pivotal role through the statistical value chain, from data collection and processing to dissemination. It is entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring that statistical data production is aligned with international standards, methodologies, and best practices. Therefore, it is our duty as a board of management to guarantee the credibility, reliability, and accessibility of statistics produced by the institution. That's why I've been given like 5 minutes to welcome you all, because we have to ensure that we have credibility, we have reliability, and we have accessibility as a board. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also worth noting or underscoring a key fact that partnerships in statistical production is vital. The collaboration with the relevant stakeholders takes many forms. It includes pooling of resources, it includes providing expertise, as well as knowledge to enhance statistical infrastructure. Across the national statistical system, which we call the NSS, we strive through collective effort that transcends organizational boundaries to work together towards a common objective to produce reliable and comprehensive statistical information. Indeed, leveraging on partnerships, we do leverage on partnerships to the extent possible to complement the government support in these efforts. I want to recognize the contribution of key development partners who have been supporting KNBS, and both currently, and perhaps they will continue to do so in the future. This includes the World Bank Group, and we have a program which is called Kenya Statistics Program for Resorts, which has just, actually, it has taken off in the last couple of months, if not last 1 year. Then we have also the UN Women through the project Making Every Woman and Girl Count program. Then we have Statistics Sweden through the Statistical Cooperation Project. The EU, through the National Information Platform for Food and Nutrition Project, and then we have the ONS, these being the key projects that partners are supporting us. I'm taking this time to say that these partnerships indeed are key in the improvement of the quality of official statistics produced by the National Statistical System. I'm glad to associate with the success in planning and implementation of the 2021 Kenya Time Use Survey and the cooperation of the report. And for that reason, I would also like to thank the technical teams that have supported KNBS, as well as the partners we have worked with to produce the report. Just one word I would like to mention. In the past, those of you who have been technical people in the KNBS, we also know that as the partners have indicated, we have not recognized maybe even household chores as part of as part of what should be included in the computation of major statistics like GDP, which everybody talks about in this country. In fact, I'm glad to know that IRO is now working with these institutions, which are represented here, to ensure that in future, the macro department will be able to include these statistics in the computation of GDP. IRO had actually refused for many years, and perhaps the DG would have told us when whether they are now recognizing household chores as part of work. And in all the methodologies that we got from the IRO report, and even to some extent UNESCO, we never recognized household chores as part of work which can be considered for both payment and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, let me add that KNBS envisions conducting time use surveys on a regular and timely basis every 3 years. I hope the partners who have supported us now will read this process. These surveys provide invaluable insights into the daily activities and contributions of individuals, especially in terms of unpaid care and domestic work. By understanding and valuing these often overlooked and underestimated activities, we can address gender inequalities, allocate resources efficiently, and design and monitor policies that cater to the diverse needs of our society, which will lead to the acceleration of the achievement of gender equality, which has been a challenge, as you all know. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the KNBS board, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the contribution of the government of Kenya, the World Bank, UN Women, and Oxfam, who provided the technical and financial support, but also the staff from various MDAs and universities whose technical input enabled the preparation of the report. I also acknowledge with great appreciation the sampled households as our valuable data sources for performing their patriotic duty in cooperating with the survey personnel and volunteering their personal information that forms the basis of the survey reports which we are just about to hear. With those remarks, thank you all for joining us in today's official launch. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Chairperson. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree that the KNBS board chairperson knows his onions around this issue of unpaid care work. You have been treated to a couple of statistics and contexts, including ILO, so we are grateful for your attention during that. Without further ado, I wish to introduce a very soft-spoken individual who happens to be the Director for Population and Social Statistics, under whose directorate the Division of Gender is domiciled. Bwana Abdul Kadir Awes will take us through the highlights of this report that we are here to witness today. Karibu sana, Bwana Awes. Let us encourage Bwana Awes with a round of applause.
Good morning. Do I look like a soft-spoken? The chief guest, PS, State Department for Economic Planning, Mr. James Muhati. The PS, State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action, Madam Anne. All protocol observed. My task today is very simple. Is just to present to you the findings of the Time News, the 2021 Kenya Times News Survey. So for that reason, I'll just go direct to the findings so that you can have the data and start taking action. On the outline, I'll present on the background, survey objectives, survey methodology, key findings, and the next step. On the background, the government is committed to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, reaffirming the overarching principle of leaving no one behind. The central role of gender equality in achieving sustainable development has been articulated in 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and has been mainstreamed in the 4th MTP. Time use collect information from individuals on what they do with their time and how they allocate it to different activities over a specific period of typically 24 hours. Data from 2021 Time Use Survey provide picture of people, daily lives, and is a rich source of gender-relevant information with focus on unpaid work. Time use statistics are useful in guiding how to recognize, reduce, redistribute, and reward work to the care sector. The need for time use statistics is also necessary for SDG, indicator 5.41, which measures the proportion of time spent on unpaid domestic and care work by sex, age, and location. Prior to the 2021 Kenya Time Use Survey, Kenya had never conducted a time use survey at a national level. What are the objectives of the time use? The first objective is to identify differences in time use patterns with special focus on paid and unpaid work. The second objective is to provide data to inform policy and resource allocation to programs that will accelerate achievement of gender equality and women's empowerment. The third objective is provide data to improve on the compilation of contribution of household production to the national accounts to inform microeconomic policies and strategies. What are the survey methodologies?
All right, and that is the Kenya Time Use Report being released right there. It is meant to shed more light on gender statistics among other issues, and just to ensure that nobody is left out of the loop in terms of planning. It is an event that is taking place at a hotel here in Nairobi, and of course we shall keep up with that event as we go on with our bulletins. But that winds it up for us on News Center. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Trix Ingado, and coming up is Agnes Gakunga with the Swahili Nigeria Bulletin. Do stay tuned.